Hey, I want to invite you into a room in my office that very few people get to visit, but is a very important functional area of my office. Come on in. My library. This is where I get a lot of my knowledge and find answers to my legal questions and to my tax and accounting questions right here at my library. Hello, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Legal Concepts Revealed. I'm Kirk Kaplan with Crest Legal and Accounting. And during this episode, I want to talk about probate is more than just filing forms and appearing in court. Also involved with probates are accountings and tax elections, not only at the estate level, but also at the deceased level. How do we allocate deductions between the deceased estate income tax return, and how do we allocate those expenses possibly on the estate's income tax return for the probate? So for right now, I am working on a probate of a Canadian citizen who just recently died and owned real property here in Las Vegas. And I have been frequently asked to help people with probates of Canadians who've died and have left property here in Las Vegas. And so a lot of times probates involve more than just having an attorney file pleadings in a court to open up the probate. Sometimes you have to have tax elections, and you've got to make sure that you make them clearly understood in your pleadings or your petitions in the court, and get appropriate court orders so that you can carry those orders into your tax elections, into the Internal Revenue Code, and possibly help them with tax situations in Canada. So frequently I refer to this tax advisor's guide to the Canadian and US tax treaty. And this is something that helps me out frequently when I'm thinking about whether I'm going to have an election under the tax treaty that we will take in the Internal Revenue Code in regards to the estate. Or if we're going to be filing the deceased's last tax return here in Las Vegas or in the United States, whether we're going to elect a tax treaty election so that we can get some advantages in the Internal Revenue Code. Well, dealing with and working with tax elections with cross-border with Canada is a really complex situation. I get that. But we Americans, we still die with probate property if you haven't done your proper estate planning. So when we're doing a probate, we're not only doing pleadings with the court, but we also want to make proper tax elections in those pleadings, in those petitions, so that we get proper court orders, that we can then carry those court orders through to showing the heirs on what the tax elections we're going to make with the Internal Revenue Code. And why this is important is a lot of times tax elections emanate out of state law. And the Internal Revenue Code looks to state law on how something is going to be treated. Not always, but many times. And it's important when we're filing our pleadings that we get proper court orders so that we can carry those elections in the court order into our tax returns that we will file for the probate estate. Here at Crest Legal and Accounting we do all of that work under one roof. We help you, guide you through the tax elections, through the court system, into the accountings, and then ultimately what's going to be reported to the Internal Revenue Service. That's our strength here at Crest Legal and Accounting, is everything is done under one roof. Not just with a probate attorney that barely has any tax knowledge. All he or she has is enough knowledge to get you through the paper filings with the court system. And then they rely upon an accountant that doesn't understand Nevada statutes in regards to the accounting rules that you have to report in the probate. And then a lot of times, just because you prepare Form 1040s, which is the individual income tax return, they a lot of times do not have enough information or enough knowledge to properly prepare a fiduciary income tax return for the estate. Here at Crest Legal and Accounting we have the understanding of the law required for the probate pleadings. Then we can enact and issue accountings under the Nevada revised statutes required under the probate. We will then use those accountings to properly prepare the estate's income tax return and reportings to the heirs and devisees. That's what we do here at Crest Legal and Accounting. We combine everything so that everything works from beginning to end, that all the heirs, all devisees have no questions on what happened, nor if the IRS will have questions. And if it does, we're going to have the appropriate supporting authority and all the elections that we've pulled in the pleadings to show the Internal Revenue Service during an audit that everything we did for this estate is appropriate and should be confirmed as the proper elections. I hope this was very helpful for you today for more legal concepts revealed. If you really like what we're doing in these videos, make sure you click the like button below. It really helps Google understand what we're doing. And then number 2 is if you want to find out more every time we publish a video, make sure you click the bell because that will contact you and notify you when we publish a new video.